Kathleen, Gina, Stephen, and Evan, thanks so much for joining us. Let me begin by asking each of you to give a brief description of yourselves and why you're running for City Council. Gina and Kathleen, since you're the incumbents, we'll start with you. Gina.
Hello, I have been on the City Council for the past 4 years, and this year I have served as mayor. A little bit about myself is I am married, and we are a combined family of 7 children. And I have a degree in education. I have been a guest teacher in the Desert Sands School District. I've been a development director for Sacred Heart School and Church, and I am a current real estate broker and believe I'm very well rounded. I love this desert, and I hope the community will allow me to serve another 4 years. Thank you very much.
Kathleen.
I grew up in Palm Springs and strayed to Northern California, where I had a career for about 30 years in all forms of conflict and dispute resolution. I always kept a part-time presence in the Coachella Valley and purchased my current home here in Palm Desert 20 years ago. 4 years ago, I offered myself for public service, believing that my background in conflict resolution could be of help to my community, and that has positively proven true. Those who have appeared before the council have affirmed that my skills have been helpful in reaching good outcomes for all parties. We are at a crucial juncture. Palm Desert has to be unified in following best practices where the virus is concerned, not just for the sake of public safety, but also for the sake of keeping our businesses open. They cannot thrive unless we all feel safe patronizing them.
Evan.
Okay, yeah, I've 27-year Palm Desert resident. As soon as I could, moved to Palm Desert right after college. I moved here, never thought about living anywhere else. I love the city of Palm Desert. We have 3 children here, raised them all here, of course. They've all gone to school here, run my business here for the last 22 years, and I'm completely committed to the success of the city of Palm Desert. I've been regularly attending city council meetings the last 3 or 4 years, and I'm on the sustainability committee now. So definitely engaged. I love civics. I love all the little decisions that go into the overall quality of life. I mean, the little things that go on that sometimes get ignored, you know, and don't make the news within these city council meetings, to me, are fascinating. When we're debating about something like dog issues at a local dog park, and that comes before the city council. These issues stacked upon one another all add up to one huge quality of life in this city, and I just want to make sure we maintain that going forward. And I'm not about ideology. I'm 100% committed to the city of Palm Desert, and I love it. Thank you.
Stephen.
Thank you. I grew up in Culver City, which is a small town. It's actually smaller than Palm Desert. Then I went to UCLA undergrad, and UCLA Law School. After that, I became a trial lawyer in Los Angeles. After retiring, my wife and I moved to Palm Desert, which was the city of our choice for, I don't know, at least 20 years. And I'm currently a small businessman. I teach law at CDTA in Indio, which is a new law school. I teach seniors at Learning and Retirement in Palm Desert. That's associated with COD. And I'm a mediator for the Superior Court in Riverside and Palm Springs. When I started as a lawyer, I started out in the public defender's office in Los Angeles County. And I was a government lawyer for 15 years, so I know how the government works. In private practice for the next 25 years, I defended cities and businesses and individuals who got sued for, in many cases, not making the right decisions. So I know what cities need to do to avoid being sued. And I'm proud to say that I'm endorsed by Congressman Ruiz because he knows that I'm a problem solver. And if elected, I would do everything I can to work for the benefit of the community in Palm Desert so that we can get ourselves out of this hole that we found ourselves in because of COVID and get our businesses back to operating in a wonderful environment, in a beautiful environment. And I think everybody here loves Palm Desert.
What is, in your opinion, the biggest issue affecting Palm Desert right now? And if elected, how do you plan to address that issue? Gina.
Well, we are a very well-run city, and our council has worked well together. The biggest issue, in my humble opinion, is the COVID pandemic with all its ramifications on health and the economic well-being of our residents and business owners. As mayor, I've had to deal with the pandemic along with my fellow council members, and we created an economic response plan to help our businesses. It's called Unite Palm Desert. And we basically gave $1 million in forgivable loans to our small businesses, another $1 million to the hospitality industry where you stay 2 nights, third night free, which the city's paying for. And research shows that people stay 3 nights, they're more likely to stay for a week. So again, we're just trying to help our businesses along. And I'm proud to say we are still able to help those in need while keeping a balanced budget with $100 million in reserves. I believe continued leadership is needed. And Peter, you know, I've been calling for months that lockdowns are not working and they're making people more poor. And the more poor we make people, they have shorter lifespans. And just last week, the World Health Organization came out and said the same thing. Lockdowns don't work. We've learned so much. And we know how to protect the most vulnerable in our community, and we need to keep doing that.
Kathleen.
All right.
Beyond what I've already said about the importance of being unified around best practices to defeat the pandemic, the most critical issue before this city is diversifying our economy so that we are not hit as hard by the next crisis. We saw in 2008, we've seen this year just how over-dependent on tourism we are. The current council has invested heavily in an innovation hub adjacent to the CSU campus to attract tech startups to Palm Desert. And one of my top priorities is to do the work today to afford our community better broadband width in the future to accommodate a variety of economic growth. My top goal is to make sure we are better positioned for the next crisis.
Evan.
It's hard to pick just one issue. You know, there's several issues I'd like to tackle, but I think they all kind of fall under the overarching issue of maintaining our quality of life here in Palm Desert. And I've spoken to hundreds of residents throughout this campaign, and regardless of their age, political stripe, whatever, I always have a conversation with them. What do you love about Palm Desert? What are some issues facing Palm Desert you'd like to see resolved? And nearly everybody mentions, just by 99%, mention they love and they've chosen to live here because of our incredible quality of life, safe, happy, quiet streets and neighborhoods. And it's just a wonderful place to live, to raise a family, and even to retire, regardless of your situation in life. It's just a wonderful place to live. Want to maintain that going forward. Now that means tackling some of the STR issues that are still facing the city, and we want to make sure we handle the STR issue in the planned residential area. Obviously, a budget, making sure we maintain a strong financial ground here moving forward, and we don't dip too heavily into the reserves, and maintain sound financial footing is critical. And maintaining public safety and making sure this is, again, a safe, happy place to live. So under that umbrella of quality of life. I want to make sure we maintain that moving forward with all those other issues under that umbrella. And that's how I plan to tackle my job on city council if I'm lucky enough to be elected.
Stephen.
Thank you. Number one issue is COVID. I'm running because I don't think the city council has been doing the simple things. The simple thing is a mandate. Mandate mask wearing, distancing, and hand sanitizing. The economy and health are one issue. We can't reopen our businesses and they can't stay open if people aren't healthy. And all we have to do is mandate wearing a mask, distancing, and sanitizing your hands. That's all we have to do. And the city council has not done that and apparently is unwilling to do so. If I was elected, I would work with whoever else is elected to the other seat on city council to make sure that we get a mandate and that we do everything possible to get our businesses open and to stay open.
Okay. Finally, why should voters choose you versus your opponents? Gina?
Well, thank you, Peter. And I first ran for office in 2016 when there was an opening on the city council. I believed then, as I do now, that I offer and still offer a well-rounded perspective that represents all of Palm Desert. Having school-age children and having worked part-time at Sacred Heart as the development director for the school and church, I developed strong relationships with not only families, but the senior citizens as well. My studies in the MBA program also have given me a good foundation to study balance sheets and work with the staff on balanced budget issues. And moreover, I am now working full-time as a real estate broker and understand the importance of working with developers to bring affordable housing projects to our community. And leadership is earned by involvement, listening, and learning. And it's what I have done serving my first term in 2016. I have developed strong relationships with community leaders in the deserts, such as affordable housing developers, the leaders in the tourism industry, the solar and energy sector, and then educators such as Dr. Zhu, the Dean of Cal State, and business owners. And I've also prioritized meeting with our local residents in order to be accessible. And I've given my cell phone number out. I meet with residents whenever they want to meet, or with the lockdown, it's been more phone calls and responding with emails. I believe my work in the community, in my educational background, my family life experience, and my work experience as a former guest teacher, former development director at Sacred Heart and Church, and a current real estate broker, it makes me very well-rounded. And I also am endorsed by the Riverside Sheriff's Association because of my strong stance on safety, and I'm very proud of that endorsement. Thank you.
Kathleen?
The voters should cast a vote for me because you'll know exactly what you're getting. Not just promises, but a proven track record. Those who have appeared before the council affirm that I am responsive to resident concerns. They affirm that I strike a balanced approach between protecting the quality of life we so appreciate, our vistas, our slower pace, our lack of congestion, balancing that with necessary growth. And lastly, I've demonstrated my leadership when the county vacated the space concerning facial coverings. I led the effort to bring that issue before the Palm Desert Council, and I led the effort to adopt our ordinance, which is still in place, of course, with the umbrella of state mandates. I've established respect regionally, as reflected by endorsements from our congressmen, our assemblymen, our county supervisor, and 7 area mayors. That credibility is an asset for Palm Desert, which I ask the privilege of continuing to use for the benefit of all Palm Desert residents. Thank you.
Evan.
Okay, well, I believe I'm the right choice for the voters of Palm Desert because I've run, well, like I said, I've lived here 27 years. I've run my business here for 22 of those years. And I've guided my business through many, many ups and downs. We survived September 11th. We survived the financial crisis of 2008, and we're surviving and going to come out stronger after this COVID pandemic. And I think I can use those same sensibilities as a council person. In other words, I can help survive during the rough times, but plan for the good times that are sure to come as well. And as we've seen in the city, you know, the city goes through those same cycles as a business where you have times of plenty and you've got times where you need to tighten the belt. And I think I've done a great job of growing this business from 0 to much more than 0 now. And I'm proud of that. And I think I can apply those same sensibilities to city council matters and matters before the city. I'm definitely strong on public safety as well. I am proud as well to have gotten the endorsement from the Riverside Sheriff's Association. So keeping a safe, happy city is definitely top of my agenda moving forward. So that's why I would love to have the vote of the residents of Palm Desert. Thank you.
And Stephen.
I'm an educator. I'm helping young people in the Coachella Valley advance themselves so that they can become lawyers. I know now a wide variety of the young people in this area, and I've gained immense respect for how hardworking they are and how diligent they are at working during the day, raising families, and working at night and putting up with me. In addition to that, I teach seniors at Learning and Retirement. I've got to know the senior community very well. So I know this community, and I think I know it in all of its aspects. I'm a small business owner, and as a small business owner, I understand the terrible times that they are having at this time. I got a phone call from a gentleman named Tony who owns Tony's Men's Clothiers and Clothing on El Paseo. Tony was having trouble getting his business permit, and he called me and said he was having a problem. He had put in an application over 3 weeks ago, and he still couldn't get a permit. I immediately called City Hall. I talked to the right people, and within 24 hours, he had received a call and was given everything that he needed to get his application going. If I were elected, that's what I would do. I would work for you. I would work for the community to get what you need done. I would work with county, state, and federal authorities to make sure that we get the resources that we need to get us out of the terrible situation that we currently find ourselves and back to work and getting our businesses open and staying open. I am the community candidate. I will always put community first. And if you vote for me, I will work tirelessly in your behalf. Thank you.
All right. Stephen, Gina, Kathleen, and Evan, we appreciate your time. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Peter.
Thanks, Peter.